So hi everyone, my name is Sagar Kakkala and today we are here for AIOps MLOps session, and in this session we'll discuss about a tool called MLflow. And before we start this session, I'll share a screen to know how since this session would be uploaded in YouTube. Just a second. Why is my Chrome not opening? Um, where's my Chrome? Chrome. Okay, it's here. Fine. Yeah, you just have to remember my name. Arre, my bad. Sagar Kakkala. And you'll have my website, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And in YouTube, everything is separated by playlists. And here you'll have this playlist. Like this session would be uploaded in IOPS, MLOps with Sargakala English. And you could watch this in a consecutive order. But there's no bit of link between this, but I would suggest to watch in a consecutive order. And the same way, everything is aggregated in blog using contents of blog. So you have this since we had DevOps sessions before, and now we had this AIOps MLOps, and here is where we'll have an ML flow in action. So we'll start the session without further delay. Okay, fine. There are a lot of tabs open. You could ignore. Yeah, let's say how ML flow helps. Maybe this is not more concern of a DevOps engineer, but this is let's say on a concern of a data scientist. So what happens here, how ML flow helps is let's assume that you are a data scientist and you're data scientist for a dairy farm. Let's say you could take an example of Vishaka Dairy, Nandini, or any dairy farm that you could think of. So what these dairy farms usually do is they manufacture products like cheese, milk, curd, and everything, and they distribute to various shops. And let's say, if I'm a dairy owner and I want to actually what to do. So for the next year, let's say I'll take 3 years of the data, and once I took 3 years of the data, for next year summer, how many sales could I expect? And based on that, I'll manufacture the products so that my loss and wastage would be minimum. And for this, to have these calculations, forecast, and predictions, I need a data scientist. And data scientist, taking this data, what he does is he uses models, and each model he'll have with the statistics or a formulas that he could use, taking the data, using the formulas, predict how many sales could be for next year. So that's how he does. And for each let's say for each product he could have a different statistics. Let's say milk packets, it took for a sale of 2 lakh packets were sold in last three some let's say in the first year it took 2 lakh packet sale in summer, and second year it took 1 lakh packet, and third year it's 1.5 lakhs. And now based on the parameters, conditions, based on the shops now you had to distribute, or shops might have been become less, the amount of shops you had to distribute, or even the summer the heat might be intense, so the products might have product intensity to sell might become more. So all this data, all these parameters must take into consideration, so that how much I could forecast in next year, the fourth year, so that my products I have the minimum wastage. So for this, data scientist uses this data, have this trained with different model, and use statistics. For each model, he could have a different statistics and different formulas, and whichever model is best, he deploys that into production. So that's how, and to use all this, let's say, uh, to deploy a model, and to use each model with different statistics, and also to compare each model its way of performing with the data, we need a playground, and that playground is where this tool called MLflow comes into place. Till here, it's clear, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Now,
Sagar.
sorry, who's this? I did not say. Fine.
Yeah, Vishnu.
Okay, okay, Vishnu. Yeah, hi. So, you were from the beginning, right, Vishnu? Or you could attend a Telugu session, if you are not from the beginning. I don't want to repeat this now. Yes.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, here. In MLflow, like we'll understand like whatever I told this, like we'll understand this better with a demo. Like it's actually we will have this in a short session, and we'll be installing MLflow. It's just like if you have a Visual Code editor, like if you have Python install already, you just open Visual Studio Code and just run pip install MLflow, and like you'll have this. Maybe I did this in Jupyter Notebook. Maybe we could do this in Visual Studio Code as well. Let's say. Where is terminal? Okay. Why is this terminal doesn't come now? Okay. Oh, I had to create folder now. Hmm. Just leave this. I'll go for Jupyter Notebook. And here, like let's say I'll create a new folder itself. I think since it's already installed, it comes fine. So it's just one command, pip install MLflow. You could like use terminal as well to install this. And if you are using terminal or VS Code editor, you don't need to give this exclamatory mark. So here I'm just running MLflow UI since MLflow is already installed. So once you give MLflow UI, I mean, take care. Only in Jupyter Notebook you have to use this exclamatory mark. If it's like terminal or you're using Visual Studio, you don't need to use this exclamatory mark. Okay, my bad. So by default it runs on. Okay, I think what happened to hello connections use host. I think. Hmm, what happened? Fine. Registry store URI is not provided. Uh, Let me see. Let me go for yesterday's. I think it was like yesterday's nothing as well I used. Is it because of that? Mm, Okay, I think it's still in this. Mm. Okay, okay, I think it's still in use. Fine. Address already in use, yes, but where it is in use? Fine, let me see if it's like I'm able to open up. I don't know where is Chrome. Okay. Like once like MLflow UI is done, you'll have localhost 5000. Okay, it's already in use, like it's opened somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where I opened it. So like once you have like localhost 5000, like it defaults opens on port 5000, you'll have this experiments, models, and prompts. So here, like in experiments, like by default, you'll have this experiment. And here, what I did is like I created a new experiment here, let's say, And like what would be the new experiment? Like before you go for new experiment, we'll be installing uh, s- a scikit-learn, which is actually a model, like which is actually an ML model, and you could have models training with linear regression and like random tree model and also some decision tree making. So all these three models you could do. And here is where I was actually using MLflow file, and it's actually a Python file. We'll save it as just like .py file. Once you save it as .py file, these are actually a libraries. And here is where we were actually having last 3 months of data. Instead of like years, I think it's okay, 36 months. Okay, it's 3 years of data, 3 years of data, and we had randomly generated like three products, like be it like milk, curd, cheese, and sales data, just like I was explaining in the beginning. Last 3 years of data, like each month there could be a different sale, and based on that, we had to forecast like fourth year's data. And like here is there, we generated the data, random data, and noise is nothing but here we would say a minute value difference, so that like you'll have difference in values. And here is where it's the most important thing. Like we had MLflow running on our localhost 5000. So we are actually giving set tracking URI to MLflow and also an experiment name. We're actually setting experiment name to multi-product dairy sales forecasting. And here is where, like being a data scientist, we are actually training the model, testing the model, we're again training the model, we're testing the model, and whatever is the model name, and that's the product name. And like these are the formulas, like mathematical formulas that we are using here to get the metrics, like more like a statistics. Since it's been long, I had got mathematics, I wasn't sure on these formulas. And here is where, like for each product, like we were using models. Since like we used scikit-learn, you'll have linear regression model, decision tree model, and random forest model. It's three models that we were using now. And like once these models are up, you'll just like have maybe I could go for this example itself. Yeah, you would be saving it in .py file. All this would be generated like once you run your Python file. So this is the one, like the Python file that I showed you. Import MLflow, MLflow.scikit, and like you'll save it as Python file. Once you save it as Python file, where is the terminal? Okay, let me go for terminal. Okay, popped up window. Okay. Mm. Okay, this is MLflow that we are running on. And this is the Python file. So I'm just running Python 3 diary sales MLflow.py. Mm, let's see. So it had run this model since I had run it yesterday, like while experimenting like 3 to 4 times. It runs like new models now. It's for like milk. It had like three models, like linear regression and decision tree and random tree. Now if I go for MLflow model, where is this? Okay, yeah, here is where we are. So now you could see it's 13 seconds ago. So these are all the new models that we had. Let's say cheese, random forest, and cheese, decision tree, and cheese, linear regression. Same way. For curd, we have three models. For milk, we had three models. Now, like being a data scientist, if I want to compare, like which model is the best, like which statistics formula is the best for me to forecast, I'll just check on this and I'll click on compare. So based on the statistics and the parameters and the metrics that I used here, whatever value suits the best for me, so I'll use this model. But let's say if I want to have like different experiments and I want to do like different models, so what I'll do is, okay, where is this? I'll go for models, and like whatever model you're training on, let's say it's like cheese random forest I want to. So as you could see, this is not a registered model, so I'll simply register this model. Since I had already used this model, I'll go for like cheese random. Once I collect on cheese random, because yesterday twice I had because like first time I had run. I had registered that model. Second time I had run, I had registered that model. This is third run that I'm doing. So I registered this model as well. So for each model, you'll get into versions, let's say. Based on the data, let's say now I'll go for models. As you could see, now it's cheese random. It's the only model. Hmm, sorry about that. So cheese random. This is the model that we have now. And here in the cheese random, now if you could see, there are like three versions, like version 1, version 2, version 3. Version 1 is the model which I had run last night, like twice I had run. This is the third one that I had run in the morning. So based on this, like whatever like version that suits me best, let's say like in Docker images we have tags, right? Like tag 1, or you could say like versioning 1, 2, 3, like whatever version, like whichever model is best for me, I would choose that. This is more like a playground, like based on the data. Like I'll evaluate like whatever, like based on the datas and everything, based on the experiments that I did. So whatever model is better for cheese, whatever model is better for curd, whatever model is better for milk. I'll evaluate that first. I'll compare that. Same way, each thing I'll drop it into a version and like I'll check like what version is better for me to deploy it into production. So that's how MLflow on a basic overview we could use. I think yeah. Since since this more on data science level, I'm not going in depth on the mathematical formulas and statistics, but this is how on an overview level it is used. Is it clear? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing the screen. Yeah, okay. I think it's a very short session that we had here now. If you guys are okay, you could turn your cameras on, or you could turn off your cameras. We'll take the screenshot and I'll stop sharing.